Apple has built a reputation for its simplicity, minimalism, and user experience. The company's design process is widely known for its meticulous and innovative approach, resulting in some of the most iconic technology products of the modern era. However, despite the exceptional quality of their products, certain design choices are rather odd. Here are 9 controversial cases that stirred strong emotions from the Apple community upon their release. In 2013, Apple made a bold move by launching the iPhone 5C alongside the 5S. It was Apple's first attempt to divide the iPhone lineup into cheaper and more premium lineups. The iPhone 5C was made out of plastic, essentially resembling the iPhone 5 but with a plastic body. Alongside this choice, Apple introduced a collection of 6 colorful silicone cases. On September 10, 2013, Apple announced in a press release, to complement the all-new iPhone 5C design, Apple created soft, matte, microfiber-lined cases in a very intentional contrast to the glossy, hard coat finish. These sleek silicone cases with unique circular patterns let splashes of color show through, and with 5 iPhone 5C colors and 6 cases to choose from, you can mix and match for dozens of fun combinations. The concept of creating a contrast may seem appealing. However, it doesn't change the fact that the holes partially obstructed the text on the back of the iPhone, causing it to change from iPhone to Han. This issue could have been easily avoided. Now let's explore the community's response to this case. So ugly. So many tiny dots that seem likely to collect dirt. I wouldn't buy the case, but simply because of the price. They seem very retro, which I think is cool. It's pretty ugly, which is appropriate for the 5C. The whole thing makes me think of that thing where you're making a painting and it's turning out really bad, so you decide to make it something crazy. It's hideous. If it had come out from any other company, I think we'd be hearing a lot more chatter about how other companies don't have taste compared to Apple. It's also impractical. It will cause it to collect grime and dust, and I don't see how the holes serve any purpose. Despite the mixed reactions to this iPhone case, many users expressed their dislike for the next product, iPod socks. In 2004, packs of 6 colorful knitted socks called iPod socks were available for purchase. These socks were specifically designed with cotton material to provide a snug fit for your iPod. Their main purpose was to add a layer of protection to iPods from any potential damage while traveling. Steve Jobs jokingly presented the socks as a revolutionary new product, but soon after, critiques began to pour in. The community's reactions to the socks varied. The lint scratches the 5G iPod, but you could just make your own with a pair of socks and thread. I think the socks are great. The best part is when you take it out of the sock, you're actually holding your iPod and not a plastic covering. I think the socks are even more overpriced than the new leather iPod case. I can't believe lint scratches the iPod. Apple, get you-ish together, man. The pack of socks was priced at $29, equivalent to nearly $50 when adjusted for inflation. Some people argued that the socks were excessively expensive, and I can't blame them. Another issue was that the iPod's screen and scroll or click wheel were completely hidden and inaccessible when it was placed inside the sock. Each time you wanted to change a song, you had to take the iPod out of the sock and then put it back in. Finally, the iPod socks provided minimal protection from drops or dust, and a few users discovered that the material caused scratches on the polished stainless steel backing of their iPods. The Verge described the product as a bizarre piece of Apple's history, and Apple stopped selling the product sometime in September 2012. But then again, the iPod socks were released in 2004. Let's consider a more recent example, the AirTag case. You may be curious as to why AirTag accessories are included in this list. Despite the generally positive reception of AirTag since their release in 2021, their accessories have received criticism due to their high prices, which are equal to or even higher than the price of the AirTag itself. Let's take a look at what the community had to say about these AirTag accessories. How do I attach it to my Apple Watch? Would look dumb with a hanging dongle. Man, the guys over at Hermes never cease to impress with their pricing, do they? Thank goodness for the Made for AirTag program, because I am not paying that much for something that should come with the AirTag. This is just asking to get robbed, having it like that on your backpack, to be honest. Wait, so now the AirTag is effectively $58 since you've got to buy the AirTag and then something to hold it? Did I read that correctly? The plastic holder costs the same as the actual product it's protecting? As you can see, most of the criticism revolves around the high cost. This reminds me of a similar situation. The $99 iPhone Smart Battery Case. This case was specifically made for the iPhone 6 and 6S, and it's just a regular silicone case that features an extended chin at the bottom for the Lightning port connection and a weird-looking bump in the middle of the back for the battery. This battery case faced some valid criticisms. The first criticism is that it was priced at $99, which was significantly higher compared to other battery banks in the market. Moreover, the charging capacity of the case was only 1,877 mAh, allowing it to charge a dead iPhone to approximately 77%. There was also no control over when the charging process should or shouldn't start. Another issue was that people like their phone cases. The Smart Battery Case required a commitment, as it was necessary to keep your phone in the case at all times if you wanted a charge. Here's what the community had to say about the Smart Battery Case. Apple just gave fugly a new definition. Functional, but ugly. Steve Jobs' Apple is officially dead. This is definitely Apple admitting the battery life isn't good enough. That's fine, but honestly, the case looks as basic as it could possibly be, a standard silicone case with a battery glued to the back. Ugly, yes, but I will be getting one. It's the only battery case that I know of that has a Lightning connector. This monstrosity would never get near my iPhone. I think The Verge summed it up well with the title of their video. Apple's new $99 iPhone battery case is a design embarrassment. Apple continuously improved the design by relocating the battery bump to a lower position in the iPhone XS, resulting in a sleeker overall appearance. They also added a shutter button to the Smart Battery Case on the iPhone 11. The Smart Battery Cases were eventually replaced by the MagSafe battery pack in 2021, but that also has now been discontinued. Even though the Smart Battery Case had its issues, it was at least useful. The next case doesn't offer the same level of usefulness, and here's why. In 2017, Apple introduced the Apple Pencil Case, a $29 accessory designed for the first-generation Apple Pencil, which itself is also an accessory. You're essentially purchasing an accessory for your accessory. The cost of the Apple Pencil Case was 1/3 of the cost of the accessory it was designed to protect from damage, but it couldn't even attach to the iPad it was meant to be used with. The Verge said it perfectly. It is a pencil case that holds a single $99 pencil. Very, very Apple. In the spectrum of odd products the company has made, the pencil case probably falls somewhere between the iPod sock and last year's $300 coffee table book. It'll protect your iPad pencil from scrapes and scratches, I guess, but iPad owners are probably more concerned about losing the thing in the first place, which is why the pencil case looks even more unnecessary when compared to its companion piece, a leather iPad Pro sleeve and built-in pencil holder. The Apple Pencil Case was nothing more than a costly leather tube that could have easily been replaced with a cheaper option on Amazon. Speaking of cheaper options, this brings me to the next case, the AirPods Max Smart Case. Despite being included with every pair of AirPods Max, the Smart Case has faced criticism for its perceived cheapness, awkwardness, and lack of sufficient protection for these expensive headphones. Also, there is no actual way to turn off your AirPods Max, aside from letting the battery die completely. If you want to preserve the battery, the simplest way to do this is by putting them in the Smart Case. This will put the headphones in a low power mode. The chief editor of The Verge stated, "I have no idea what's going on with the AirPods Max case," which is a goofy one-piece contraption that's folded and glued over on itself to form a case. It looks very much like a purse when wrapped around the headphones, which is at once fun and clever, and also not the point of a headphones case that needs to survive in a backpack. It does not appear very protective, feels like it will get dirty fast, and generally does not hold a candle to the nice hard cases that come with almost every other set of premium headphones. It is one of the cheaper feeling things Apple has ever made, in my estimation, the second in a trend that started with the MagSafe Duo charger. I hope there is not a third thing. While Marques Brownlee states, "You have to use this case to turn the headphones off. And if you don't use this case, they will just sit around draining the battery for about 2 hours before they go into auto-low power mode." Not sure if other cases can be made that also use magnets to trigger this low power mode. That remains to be seen. Going back to 2006, just a few years after the introduction of the iPod socks, Apple unveiled another accessory for the iPod and iPod Nano. This time, it was a luxurious Italian leather case priced at $99, equivalent to nearly $150 when adjusted for inflation. Just like the iPod socks, the screen, scroll, and click wheel were completely hidden and inaccessible. Each time you wanted to change a song, you had to take the iPod out of the leather case and then put it back in. Let's take a look at what the community had to say about the leather case. When I read $99 for a case, I laughed out loud too. Gee, if only I had a 5G iPod, I'd certainly have ordered a $100 case that didn't let me control the iPod while it was in it. Makes sense to me. My mom has a case for her iPod from Coach. Pretty expensive designer store, make leather goods, purses, etc. Hers was $80, I think. $99 for an Apple leather case, huh? Who seriously is going to buy that? Yeah, no kidding. I read that and was like, wow, such a bad day for Apple. Full of disappointments. $99, can't get over that? Ripoff. I could think of a lot of better things to spend $99 on. I just ordered mine. Sadly, it ships in 3 to 4 weeks. I'll post pics when I get it. Look on the bright side, you have 3 to 4 weeks to realize you overpaid by about $50 and cancel the order. Looking back, I pretty much agree with the criticism on the price. At $99, the product was viewed as excessively expensive compared to other iPod cases at the time. This reminds me of the iPhone leather sleeve. In 2012, the iPhone leather sleeve was released alongside the iPhone 12, 12 mini, and 12 Pro. Similar to the iPod leather case, the leather sleeve was costly, priced at $129 and inconvenient to remove. The cutout offered no interactive features, and despite having microphone cutouts on the front and bottom, the case would disconnect calls automatically when the phone was reinserted into the sleeve. Here's what the community had to say about the leather sleeve. Perfect for grandma, I suppose. It will definitely protect your phone until you drop it while removing the sleeve. Expensive luggage tag. Yeah, no thanks. I do not see the logic in this at all. Sorry, but this thing just looks awful. So ugly and impractical. I really hope someone who's buying it posts on here what they like about it. I genuinely would be interested to know. Is that my phone? Let me just reach in here. Pull this thing out of there. Then undo this thing. Nope. No matter how many times I see a picture of this sleeve, I have no idea what the thinking behind it is or who is possibly going to buy it. The iPhone leather sleeve didn't receive a good reception, which is likely the reason why the case only lasted for 1 year, as it was discontinued after the release of the iPhone 13. And now, let's explore the most recent case, the iPhone 15 FineWoven Case. Apple made a significant announcement during their Wonderlust event, revealing their decision to replace leather in their product line with FineWoven. Apple describes the FineWoven case as a high-quality case made to be durable and protect your iPhone. However, the online community absolutely criticized this, highlighting how easy it is to show wear on this type of material. A mere swipe of a finger was sufficient to leave a mark on the case, while even a small amount of dirt or liquid could permanently stain it. The $59 price tag, which is the same as Apple's leather cases, also received criticism. Apple's leather cases were highly regarded for their quality, while FineWoven doesn't give off the same premium feeling as leather. Despite this, Apple is still pricing it as a premium case. People were dissatisfied with this alternative case in terms of price, feel, and durability. Here's what the community had to say about the FineWoven case. I know I'm being subjective, but this is not a great Apple year. FineWoven is an epic fail. This must be the biggest piece of hot garbage that Apple has yet released. I would be really interested in knowing what the thought process was. I'm kind of surprised they're not pulling them off the shelves and reimagining something else. Did their product development team not just grab one of the test units and scratch it with a fingernail or set of keys? Of course they show damage in those cases. They have people running their fingernails up and down them. That is not normal usage. Perhaps my opinion is unpopular, but I have had the case since Friday and haven't had any issues, and my cutout is spot on. This is the second article talking about how many people hate the cases, with no mention of positive feedback. I returned mine. I liked the color and was even fine with it seeming to wear poorly, but the case made a whoosh sound as I put it into my pocket every single time. So, no thanks. I'll just buy a normal case for half the price. I guess I'll go against the grain here. I have a FineWoven blue case for my 15 Pro Max and don't mind it at all. Feels nice, especially the sides, and no alignment issues. I prefer the look of leather on the back instead of FineWoven, but not a huge deal. Guess it'll depend on how it stains. Alright, I have a question for you. Out of all the controversial cases listed in this video, which one do you consider to be the worst case? Feel free to leave a comment down below.